19.3, journalizing depreciation expense. We have two learning objectives. You need to be able to prepare plant asset records, and you need to be able to journalize annual depreciation expense. A plant asset record form is just the accounting form that we are going to record the information about each plant asset. So most plant asset records contain usually 3 sections, and on those 3 sections, the first section is going to be prepared when we buy that plant asset. The second section is going to be when we dispose of that plant asset. And then the third section is going to be for recording the annual depreciation and the book value of the asset each year. This is an example of what a plant asset record sheet is going to look like. So when we look at this top section, this is our section 1. So this is what's filled out when we buy our plant asset. This tiny little middle section, this is our section 2. We don't fill this section out until we dispose of that asset. And then section 3 is going to be where we're going to record the depreciation and book value for that plant asset. So really we're going to fill in 1, 3, and then 2. To journalize our annual depreciation expense. When we look at this, when we have our depreciation, it actually doesn't affect our office equipment account because we are not depreciating that office equipment right now. We'll get to that later on. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to debit that depreciation expense. So we're going to increase that expense account. And we're also going to increase our accumulated depreciation for office equipment. Now, this is going to go into our general journal. Here we see that we have our debit of depreciation expense, and we have our credit to our accumulated depreciation. Number 1, how is accumulated depreciation recorded so as to retain the original cost information for plant assets? Excuse me. Depreciation is going to be credited to the contra account, accumulated depreciation, rather than crediting the asset account. So I'm going to go back here. This is what we're looking at here. We're going to actually credit this accumulated depreciation office equipment instead of crediting the actual office equipment. Number 2, how does an adjusting entry for depreciation expense change the balance of the asset account? That is a trick question. The balance of the asset account is not changed. Remember, we are going to credit the constant asset account instead. That was it for 19.3 lecture. Open up your 19.3 work together.